Now, my research was split into 3 sections. One was research into themes of the film, actual research for the film. One was summer homework, where I would just generally get the buzz going for filmmaking, anything to do with the brief. That was what the summer homework was, as well as a whole section for short film appreciation, where I would analyze and pinpoint certain things I liked about films that I had seen, short films. Now, all of these I used different technologies, loads of technologies. I think I used the most here in research because research was such a big process. Going through the posts, for example, my change of personality post, I had to, obviously, one of the very basic technologies I used was the internet. Obviously, that was where I got all the posters and all the short stories, as you can see in one of my all the news stories in, for example, Dead Body Found, that post, where that was an online article, as well as videos about John Cozart. Although I used YouTube for this, the internet is basically part of the internet. One of the technologies I used in my research was Prezi. Now, as I'm going to show you where I used a Prezi, it's in colours. Now, colours, I looked at colours and emotions because I knew that those, for example, in thriller films, when there's a dark setting, it becomes moody and depressing. That is why I felt it was essential for me to pinpoint colours and emotions together and see what the link was. So now I'm going to demonstrate how I made a Prezi. This is my colours and emotions one. I have my own account in Prezi. It's my school account, where, as you can see, I've made various Prezis because it is a very useful program. What I did was use login, press new Prezi. It's the first thing you see, and as you wait for it to load, it gives you a bunch of templates. Some of them are new. Now, the one that I'm going to choose is Journey. I find that and I press Use Template. I click Use Template. Now, you can click to add a title. For me, it is question 4. And I'm going to insert a few videos from YouTube. Now, Control-C. Not this. You don't get the embed link. You get the share link. And this is what happens. See? Really simple. And this is in the first. If you don't want this to be the first thing someone sees in the Prezi, you can just switch the slides around like that. You can make it smaller or make it bigger. And that's how you make a Prezi. Okay. Blogger itself was essential to not to just this coursework, to every piece of coursework in media. As you can see, all you need is a Gmail account. And I made one a year ago, and I kept that. And all you have to do is have a new blog and you can get this. This is my A2 media dashboard. Press Tasmania Wrestling Media A2 because that is what I have named my A2 blog. This was where all the coursework magic happens. I have 66 posts so far. This is where all the posts are made. I've shown you in other videos. You'll see in other videos how I have made these. Now, another essential thing about this is the Twitter feed. Now, this is very easy to put in. This Twitter feed is basically my project log of what I did and when I did it, and whether or not I found any difficulties. It was also almost like a checklist, as it was a good reminder as well, like this is what I have to do and this is what I have done, and it was a way to monitor progress, and because it was always on the blog, it was a good reminder. This is quite simple to put in. You go to your Blogger dashboard page, you click Layout, and then you press Add a Gadget, click Add a Gadget. There is but obviously there's lots you can do, but this is basically how you would add a label. Now, I have already added Twitter and Instagram. I made a Twitter account for this specifically, as you can see, and this is my feed. Now, that was research and planning. Obviously, I have used SkyDrive, and I've showed you in the next video what I've done with SkyDrive and how absolutely important it was in my coursework. It was so useful because it was like SlideShare, but it was more polished. The quality was clearer. It felt more professional to me. Now, in regards to using YouTube, again, Gmail. You can use your school account, the one I made for my school. I go to Video Manager after I've uploaded from Picasa, which is in another video, which you'll be seeing a bit later on. Here it all is. These are the videos that I've used in my blog. And it's one of the most useful things, again, because using YouTube to present my storyboard was something I learned to do last year and felt the need to carry on this year, because not only does it let you see each shot in detail, I've added annotations to them, and you can see the story in more detail, and it's also almost like a film in a way, as you travel through each picture shot. these were the various technologies that I used in my, look, for example, in my music video treatment, again, a YouTube video which shows a lot of things. You just press play, simple as, it's as easy as that. I've used, for my summer homework, there has been lots and lots of internet research, to be honest, because that was where I was setting the base for everything. Now, in my short film appreciation, I used YouTube, which is very easy, as I will demonstrate for you now. Again, YouTube comes up on Google, type in short films, and there it is. All these short films come up, some of them which I have analysed on my blog under short film analysis. And you see, as you can see on the screen, there's a slide. This is where I picked out some of the details. It's not too intense an analysis, but this is where I picked small things that I like about the short films. YouTube wasn't the only thing that was used. I also used Vivo. Internet's gone. I also used Vivo, but that was only for one film, and that was called The Dark Side of the Lens. My internet connection's gone and it never comes back afterwards. But yeah. So you get the idea. That was for research, but with research, media technologies did actually come together a lot. I used YouTube, Vivo. I used even the BBC website to look at short films because I needed short films. However, even though I didn't find as much on the BBC, I found lots on Vivo. As my internet connection is back up, here is Dark Side of the Lens. This is by far one of the greatest short films of finds for me, if I must say so, because every shot in that film is a picture, and it's so poetic, and it's a short film, and it shows how you can go about a short film completely differently, but still get the message spot on. It was amazing to me. Now, SlideShare I didn't really use this year because SkyDrive, as I've mentioned before, served me well. Now, the internet overall and Blogger was very key in the research section, especially when I did experimental images. I tried to use Instagram, but I couldn't because I didn't have a phone, and for some reason, if you have a phone, you're only allowed Instagram. So I just adapted it on Picasa, stuck it into, again, another YouTube video, as you can hear now in the background, sorry. And voila. Here you can see shots that I would imagine to be in a film. This was a really great experience for me because I was able to be more imaginative with shots and storyboarding later on. All this research was inspirational to me there's a post I made about the slave and the beast. Now, this was an in-class task. However, and the way I took pictures, I actually took pictures of the worksheet and posted it, because the fact is, the slave and the beast is a classic story, and there's three things it taught me to avoid three things in a film, and that was lack of character motivation, randomness of events, and lack of narrative development. This later on helped me to develop my film and ensure that it has a message. And although the character doesn't develop to become good, he still changes, and there's consequences for it. There's no randomness about that. There are consequences for what he does. Now that concludes my research section of the whole. That concludes my whole research section and my new media technologies.